What's up, y'all? This is First Team Fans, and we were just thinking about how much the worlds of basketball and hip hop collide. We all know rappers want to be ball players, and ball players want to be rappers. I mean, just look at guys like Shaq and Iverson, or Master P and 2 Chainz. They all made the crossover at one time. Not only that, but you can watch any NBA game and find plenty of MCs in the crowd, and vice versa in any music video. So this has got our minds going. How cool would it be to make a list of NBA players and their rap counterparts? With our love of sports as well as hip hop, we just thought it'd be cool to bring you an analysis of which ballers remind us of which artists. Now, we have to admit that this list is somewhat based off our own personal opinions, but we also try to support all our explanations with facts and statistics, along with observations that we and others have already made. Also, though a few of the players and MCs we name are our favorites of ours, there are also some named who we aren't necessarily fans of, but whose talent and skills we respect and don't believe we can deny. Now, please keep in mind that this is a very limited number of names, and just because somebody was left off this list, it doesn't mean that we don't consider them one of the greats. The ones chosen for this were decided by how accurate of a comparison could be made between the two. Now, last thing, before we start, outside of the first player rapper breakdown, the order of this list is not based on the rank of greatness. It's completely random. All right, now let's see what we got and go through all that, and let's dive into all of this. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Come on, man. Where else will we start? The GOAT. 6-time NBA champion and finals MVP, the 6 MVPs being a record, 5-time league most valuable player, 10 scoring titles, also a record, plus the highest all-time scoring average, regular season and playoffs, defensive player of the year, and the only defensive player of the year to lead the league in scoring in the same season, 9-time first team all defense, top 5 in steals in the regular season and playoffs, top 10 in career triple doubles, and the first player to record a triple double in an all-star game, highest all-time player efficiency rating. The list goes on and on. Now, we don't think there are too many who argue with us that MJ isn't the best ever, especially after all that we just named. But even if that doesn't convince you, consider this. His airness could just do more things better than anybody else. It's like Spike Lee said, 5 Jordans could beat 5 of any other player in NBA history. Sure, Bill Russell won more in a less difficult field with a vastly superior team to the ones he's faced, but he was nowhere near as skilled or as good a scorer as Michael. Now, Wilt may have been a slightly more dominant scorer, but he wasn't close to being the winner Jordan turned out to be. Mike could shoot, he could drive, he could pass, he could rebound, he could dunk. He was skilled, he was athletic, he was smart, he was clutch. Simply put, Michael Jordan checks all the boxes. He had no weaknesses. To us, the closest comparison to this is Jay-Z. 14 number one albums, multiple Grammys, top 5 lyricists. He can drop knowledge. He can rap about hood life. He can rap about partying. He can rap about money. He can battle rap. He can spit about whatever kind of subject matter. He's got punchlines. He's got metaphors. He has puns and clever wordplay. He can use intricate rhyme schemes and switch flow and styles. He has validity in the streets but can cross over to pop, similar to Jordan's ability to exhibit superhuman athletic prowess while at the same time still remaining relatable and appealing to average people. Also, like Mike, Jay is just better at more things than anybody else. There may be a few lyricists who are as good or slightly better, but how many of them have sold or been as consistently on top as Hove? And there may be some who can move as many units as he does, but you'd be hard pressed to find many of those that could touch his MC skills. I mean, even their demeanors and the way they go about their lives is similar. They're both real private and guarded, and both seem to control the narrative about their lives. Like we only know what they want us to know. They really are two of a kind. Jigga said it best. MJ, him J, fade away, perfect. Next we go with Earvin Magic Johnson, who in our opinion correlates to Tupac Amaru Shakur. Now this may seem a little odd at first, but only if you're basing it off personalities, and this is not how we're looking at things between these two. Magic, along with Larry Bird, is widely considered responsible for the modern NBA and its popularity. He preceded Jordan just as Pac did with Hova. Now obviously the contributions of plenty of other rappers can't be ignored, but there's no denying Pac's impact on the culture. He set the stage for guys like Jay-Z to take rap to even greater levels, the same way Michael took what Magic built and launched it out of the stratosphere. Magic's skill level was dominant to the tune of being a top 5 all-time great, yet if you looked at his jump shot, it wasn't necessarily the prettiest or most orthodox, and he wasn't regarded as a supreme one-on-one player. Yet he was effectively unstoppable, holding many awards and statistical records when he retired, and he won a lot. 5 NBA titles and 9 appearances. This is just like Don Illuminati. No reasonable person would say that he's not a top 5 rapper and poet, but his lyricism is often underrated and undervalued, though it did lack some of the more complex rhyme schemes that other artists employ. Regardless, his words and subject matter were so deep that even the best rhymers rarely come close to being as impactful and thought-provoking as he was. He also has sensational flow, delivery, and presence. Oh, and not to mention his record sales. Between 1994 and 1996 alone, he sold over 12 million records. To add a little more to it, Magic was born in Michigan but is mostly identified with Los Angeles. Tupac was born in New York but will largely be remembered as affiliated with the West Coast. And just like the Lakers legend, the man who brought us Thug Life has remained just as relevant to the game today, even though both their careers ended over 20 years ago. The Magic Machiavelli connection just fits. This next one we had to get a little creative with. It's also probably going to be our most controversial. If we had to guess, most people would probably think we named Larry Bird as the Notorious B.I.G.'s analog since we had Tupac as Magic's. But really, besides that, the similarity stops there. Instead, we decided to go with Isaiah Thomas. He did have somewhat of a rivalry with Magic. They competed for the title of best point guard in the NBA and split 2 appearances in the finals. And they did kind of beef a little bit. So this satisfies the Tupac Biggie beef requirement. In addition, the shortness of Isaiah Thomas's Pistons reign, 3 finals, 2 rings, coincides with Big's tragically short career. Though Big Papa dominated the game when he was alive, his run was really only for 2 albums. At the same time, those 2 records were lyrically, artistically, and commercially superior to almost anything before or since. His contribution was so great that even that small sampling was enough to solidify his place among the very elite mic checkers. Just as Zeke is unquestionably one of the best to ever lace up a pair of kicks. Both also represented the East, whether it be the Conference or the Coast. This may be the comparison that you guys disagree with the most, but it was the one we felt lined up the closest. All right, now from here, we're going to take it somewhere unexpected. Hakeem Olajuwon and Andre 3000. Did you see that one coming? For starters, they both rep the South, King with the H-Town and Dre holding it down for the A. But it doesn't stop there. They both are so exceptionally talented and both have won or sold so much that an argument could be made that they are in fact the best ever that history denied us the chance to find out. Think about it. The Dream won all his titles when the Jumpman was retired for all or part of the season, and he never met him in the finals. Yet he actually had a pretty good regular season record against him. 3 Stacks has never been on the track with Jay, but have you ever in your life heard him out-rapped on a song? And do you honestly see him being ripped even by Jay? There were times during Hakeem's run where he dominated in such a way that his moves let you shake in your head, and that's just like about any verse Ice Cold has ever dropped. Olajuwon has 2 rings, a finals, and NBA MVP, and numerous statistical records. 3000 has multiple platinum albums and Grammys. Both could make strong cases for the throne, but we'll never really know. Our next breakdown is of LeBron James and his counterpart Lil Wayne. This should be easy. Both were young prodigies that actually lived up to the hype and became all-time greats. LBJ has stats, accolades, and 3 titles. Lil Wayne has bars for days and has sold millions. At the same time, though, despite LeBron's talent and accomplishments, there are many detractors of his game. His level of skill development relative to his talent can be questioned, as well as the fact that he has a losing record in the finals, though he has been there 8 straight seasons. Also, he can sometimes appear to lack a killer instinct, and there are some who wonder about his heart and competitive fire. He can play and put up numbers, but there's just something missing. Fair or not? Parallel to that is Lil Wayne, who often exhibits exceptional metaphors, punchlines, and wordplay, yet he rarely has much depth and substance to his subject matter. He's fun to listen to when his songs are catchy, but something shallow about it all. Regardless, they're both all-time greats, and nobody can take that away from them. All right, now this one may be a little too obvious, but it was just too close to reject. Larry Bird and Eminem. We know that based off our early analyses, the timelines don't necessarily fit. However, other than that, there's just too much that's the same. We're going to keep it brief, though. Both are white men in leagues dominated predominantly by black men. But regardless of race, only a hater or a fool would say that these two aren't the baddest dudes to ever do it. Enough said. All right, our last comparison is probably a little obvious as well. Steph Curry and Drake. We know it seems like we're taking the easy way out, but bear with us a little bit. Look at all the connections. On the surface, they both appear to be nothing more than light-skinned pretty boys, but those perceived veneers mask the true persona of two guys who deep down are stone-cold assassins. Curry with a basketball and Drizzy with his words. They may come off as cute and nice, but they will slit an opponent's throat just to see the blood drip. Don't believe us? Ask the rest of the NBA during the last few seasons and check out what happened to Meek Mill. Not only that, but they are both highly skilled and accomplished. Steph is a career 50, 40, 90 player and has 3 rings and 2 MVPs and the only unanimous MVP. While Drake is an above-average lyricist with clever wordplay, punchlines, and metaphors, as well as being a regular at the top of the charts. They also both have appeal and popularity that transcends both their industries. Plus, they both have wholesome images relative to the lifestyles that they actually lead. Steph is a family man, and Drake raps more about love and feelings than violence and drugs. We can take it even further and point out that Curry is the son of an NBA player, so didn't really have the impoverished background a lot of athletes have. While Drake had a successful acting career before turning to the mic, so has a different origin story than the hood narratives most rappers tell. They really are two of a kind. So that concludes our list of NBA superstars and their hip-hop doppelgangers. We hope that if nothing else you found it interesting. We're sure many of you will disagree either with the comparisons or the evaluations, but we think they're at least compelling and should be fun to debate. Share your thoughts in the comments. Also check back for more sports-related discussions. You can follow us on Facebook.com/FirstTeamFans, Twitter.com/FirstTeamFans, and Instagram.com/FirstTeamFans. Also, be on the lookout for our website and app coming real soon. Remember the name, First Team Fans. We're your online locker room. Come join the worldwide clubhouse.